Hey y'all, and welcome to the Sunshine Podcast. I'm your host, Maddie Campbell, and today we're going to be talking to Becca Harvey, better known as Girlpuppy. The singer-songwriter is based out of Atlanta, Georgia, and known for her unmasking lyrics and synthetic alt-rock sound. With over 70,000 monthly listeners, you may know her for songs like Wish and I Miss When I Smelled Like You. Today we're going to be talking about her debut album, When I'm Alone. We're going to go behind each track and get stories about each song, sometimes about the boys who break our hearts, and maybe even Keanu Reeves. We're even going to talk about her prepping for tour with Howdy. Let's jump into the interview. All right, Becca, welcome to the Sunshine Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited that you're here. To start off, why don't you talk about how you got started in music? What was the beginning of Girlpuppy?
So I first started writing music when I was very young. I kept a music journal when I was 6, and I would write random songs, but obviously that wasn't Girlpuppy. That was just me wanting to be Hannah Montana and thinking I was cool. I think when I graduated from high school, I tried to make music then, and I had a band camp, which is where Girlpuppy started. I had girlpuppy.bandcamp.com. I released two little songs that I was playing guitar myself, not good at all. I've actually scrubbed them from the internet because they were so bad. But the beginning of Girlpuppy was when I released my song For You. And I made that, I guess I started making that the end of 2019. The person I was dating at the time was a multi-instrumentalist, so I kind of got lucky where he could just help me out with production and writing it. I kind of just dropped that. Because my Instagram username had always been Girlpuppy, I was Girlpuppy since high school. And I knew from the beginning, I was this is gonna be, I don't want to release music under Becca Harvey. It just sounded a little too boring. So Girlpuppy was born, and I released For You. I kind of just dropped it. I didn't give any sort of promo or anything. I was just here's a song. And luckily, a lot of people listened to it. And then I knew, or I didn't know. I was just well, I guess this is something I can try forever now.
And that one single now has over 1 million streams.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I really don't understand it.
So you have For You, the single that came out, the one that started everything. And then you put out the Swan EP. And then in October, you put out When I'm Alone. Amazing set. And I noticed each of them sound different, but I think When I'm Alone is just a great collection of all those different sounds. Were you testing out different genres or things when you were making each one?
With For You especially, it was just I was listening to a lot of Angel Olsen at the time, and I love, the women of indie. I just was making music of music that I loved, and I feel For You has its I've seen people are always "Oh my God, For You is so cottage core," which I've never really considered it cottage core, but
Yeah.
maybe it's like that. Swan and When I'm Alone are alike in many ways, but also very different. I think When I'm Alone is that's exactly the music that I want to make and the music that I listen to, because there's so many different aspects of it. It's very folky. Some of it's pretty pop rock, I guess you could say. It's exactly everything I love about music. I kind of combined aspects from each type of music I listen to. There's a lot of Grizzly Bear inspiration on the album, which is one of my favorite bands ever. Yeah, I guess I was kind of trying to test out different things, but mainly just making what I like to listen to.
And you can definitely hear that. When I'm Alone is such a good mixture of emotions. It's a little emotional roller coaster, you know.
A little bit.
The final girl interlude into Wish is an amazing transition, and then coming
Oh,
all the way
thank
back
you.
down, Permanent State.
Yeah, it gets a little crazy.
And you've worked with some really notable people, Marshall Vore, the drummer for Phoebe Bridgers, Doug Shatt, Sam Accione, some really incredible people. How did
Yeah.
you get connected with them?
So Marshall, we met on Twitter, which is the most Gen Z shit that I could ever say. He and I were just great friends, and he just randomly was if you ever want to make music with me, you should just come to LA and we could do it. And so that's how that started. And then with Doug, that was set up by my management. I don't even know how. I don't even remember how that was started, but Doug, one of my favorite people, I mean, incredible person, so talented, so much fun to work with, genuinely so comfortable to work with. And then Sam, I'm a huge fan of Alex G. I think he's awesome. And we played Riot Fest in 2021, like a day apart, but I had stayed the whole weekend and we saw Alex play. And then afterwards, I wanted to like talk to all of them because I'm a fan. And me and Sam kind of just hit it off. And I knew Sam, like, I knew that he had produced because he produced for Tomberlin. And I just asked him, like, would you ever be interested in producing for me? Like, I'd love to work with you. And it just worked. And I really can't, like, it's hard to even imagine myself working with anyone else because it works so well. I love Sam. I think he's like one of the greatest people in the world, and he's so talented.
That's crazy. And you have some, pretty notable influences. In one of the bios, you talked about like My Bloody Valentine, Caroline Polachek, and the Twilight New Moon soundtrack. So I think that's a great, diverse influence list.
Thank you.
Before we get into the album, can you walk us through like the creative process, writing a song, working in the studio? Like, what does that look like, start to finish, for you?
So I think my creative process might be a little bit different from others, only because I don't play an instrument. It's kind of hard for me to write songs because I don't have any way to like play them out. I can only like hum a melody or sing a melody and, show someone to help me with guitar parts. I mean, both When I'm Alone and Swan, most of the songs, I'll write a full song. Like I'll write like verses, chorus, whatever, and I'll look at it and I'll make sure everything's like formatted, like all the syllables line up, and I'll look at it and I'll like try to come up with a melody on my own and just kind of hum one out or sing it out, and then I'll send it to whoever I'm working with at the time and have them put like a guitar part over it, and then that'll start. So that's like one way I like to do it. And What Am I Alone, for example, Sam was playing something on guitar, like for the song Destroyer. He was just like playing that melody, and I like asked him like, what is that? And he just was like, something I've been playing. And then I came up with lyrics to fit the melody. So it can go like one of two ways. I feel like I'm writing all the time. I like, especially now, I've been writing almost every single day, multiple times a day. I've just been writing a lot, and it's sort of going the same way, like writing a song and then humming a melody and sending it to whoever can help me make a guitar part. So with When I'm Alone, going into the studio, I knew that I wanted 12 songs on the album. I only had two songs written, I think. So we wrote 10 songs all within that time of being at the cabin where we made it. Swan, it was a little bit easier because I had five songs fully written anyway. It just was a matter of like getting the melody right. It's pretty much the same every time, just like me writing songs and then someone else helping me with it.
I totally understand that. Because I know for me, like, I have a sacred writing journal that I never use and then become very dependent on my notes and voice memo apps.
That's me.
Yep.
That's my vibe. I wish I was one of those like artists that had like a journal and it was really cool and they took it with them everywhere and it's like a moleskin. I don't have that. Yeah, I have my notes app and I have voice memos and that's it.
Yeah, I could go grab you my Moleskin off of my dresser that I spent the $25 off the website to go get the Moleskin
Yup.
music journal
Yup.
that I never use,
Nope.
but I use my voice memo and my notes app probably every single
It's
day.
just so much more accessible, like
Yeah.
especially because like a lot of the time I'll think of something while I'm driving and by the time I'm parked I forget. So I have
Yep.
to have that voice memo to be like, like I
I
have
know.
to have that.
That was literally me in the car today. I had like immediately turned off my Bluetooth and like,
Yes,
yeah,
you have to.
it's a synonymous experience for any music person.
I I love iPhone.
I love
I'll say
iPhone.
it. I'll say it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think being a non-instrumentalist, because like I totally get that myself. Like I bought a keyboard to learn the keyboard to
Yep,
get the music out of my head. Because
me.
it doesn't matter how many music theory classes I take, the notating of the melodies is not gonna happen.
I literally, yeah, I bought a Juno and I probably touched it twice since that. I left it at my guitarist's house and it's just been there. Like I'm like everyone in my band, I'm like, go for it. Play with that Juno because it's getting no use out of me. Like the money
Yeah.
was wasted on me. Like please play with the Juno.
Before we get into When I'm Alone, I don't we I want to focus on When I'm Alone, but if you could define the Swan EP in either a color, feeling, or hyper specific metaphor.
Ooh. I think I would do the feeling, and the feeling would just be extreme sadness. Because truly, one of the darkest moments of my life was when I wrote that EP. That's why, like, I kind of I've become so neglectful of Swan. Like, I love it and I'm so proud of it. But like, we don't like live nowadays, we only play one song from that EP on tour. We only play as much as I can, only because like that EP to me is just so dark. Like, it is just so that was tough. And so it's kind of hard to even play those songs live. That's why I always feel bad. I feel like I always have to preface with this shit because I like when I go on tour, I'll always get DMs or like comments being like, "Oh, are you gonna play this song, this song, this song?" from like Swan, and I never respond to them, but I'm always like, "No, I'm not." Like I'm not.
It's not
I'm
gonna
so sorry,
happen.
but I'm not going to. It's not gonna
Yeah.
happen.
I mean, you got to play as much as I can with that iconic music video. You got to do it
Yeah.
justice.
See, with this much like that one's fun. Like we can have fun with that one. That one we like to rock out. Like it's cool.
It's a great piece, and I think you absolutely should
Thank
be
you.
proud of it. I can understand, like, it's a piece of you, but I don't think it's necessarily a representation of who you
Yeah,
are. It-
exactly. That's
It's a chapter
very
that's
that
closed.
exactly that. That is a chapter that is put aside,
Yeah.
closed forever, hopefully. Done with that.
Yeah, we revisit that at like 2 a.m. on a Tuesday, but not like at a
Exactly.
concert where we're trying to vibe.
That's right. Maybe like at a
Yeah,
like maybe like a 20-year Girlpuppy anniversary show, like long time from maybe we'll play some songs
there
from
you
that
go.
EP, but until then, we're gonna keep them shelved.
Oh, yeah. You can do like the 20th anniversary miniature furniture vinyl special.
Exactly.
We don't need it now.
Exactly. We don't need it now. You guys can
We don't
wait.
need it. So, we're gonna get into it when I'm alone. I would like you, before we get into all of these tracks, I'd like you to again define When I'm Alone in either a color, feeling, or hyper specific metaphor.
Okay. Other feeling I was just metaphor. Mhm. I think that I would describe it as a color, and the color I'm going to choose is a forest green because forest green, it's like it's dark, but it's not too dark. It could be happy or sad to anyone. It could be perceived as anything of the sort. I think we recorded it in a forest. There are lots of forest greens. Just everything about it feels very green to me.
I like that. It feels very new. And I
Very
think,
new.
yeah, reborn,
Green, rebirth,
rebirth.
reborn. Hmm.
Right there you go. So, probably one of my favorite opening interludes of 2022, Final Girl. What
Same.
what made you want to start with this like amazing opener of like all the sounds that you're about to hear?
I just wanted a little taste of the album to start off with, a little appetizer, if you will. Um,
Boosh boosh. I love it.
just yeah, like I love a mandolin, and I wanted the mandolin to open up the album, um, just to give it a little something. And I knew that I wanted because I almost called the album, funnily enough, I almost called the album Final Girl, and I really wanted like the word or like the sentence Final Girl somewhere on the album. And I thought, well, why not start off with it? Like I remember I think it was some like I forget who, but there was some publication that was like she starts off with the album with Final Girl, and it's almost like she's facing this album with a sword. Like she's about to be the final girl at the end of the album. And that's like how she started. It was like she's setting the scene like facing something with a sword or a weapon. And reading that, I was like, oh my God, that's so genius. I should have thought of that because that really is kind of what it is. And that's what it feels like now. It's so funny that like someone can tell me something about something that I wrote that I didn't think of. And I'm like, oh my God, no, exact. Like it is really crazy how things can get perceived. And I'm like, no, you're right. I wasn't thinking that originally, but you're exactly right.
Wish, which was the first single that you released for this album.
Hmm.
Um, the transition into Wish from Final Girl is amazing. I love that.
Thank you.
And it like I feel like it sets the tone change for this
Totally.
album. like we're in a new era, we're in a new chapter that we're gonna revisit. We're gonna revisit this chapter.
Oh yeah.
So what was the thinking when you started Wish?
So I wrote Wish when I was super angry, and I knew that I wanted it to sound super angry. And I was listening to a lot of MBV at the time. So MBV was like the main reference for Wish. And I just wanted, like, my problem with like Swan, all those songs, I love them, of course. Like, they're fun to play live. They were fun to play live. But I realized I was like, I don't really have like a song that I can kind of rock out to because like I was just on the tour with I was just on tour with the Districts before I started making the album. And I remember seeing them every night and they had all these songs that like everyone was dancing to and people were yelling and it just looked so much fun. And I every night I was like, I don't have that. Like I love this type of music. I want to make this type of music, but I don't have anything like that. Like during my set, everyone's just so quiet and standing there, and it like seems that they're scared to even breathe, like during my set. And I was like, I need something to like get everyone comfortable and just, yeah, kind of like almost like get everyone out of the comfort zone to just be like, look, I'm starting off with a bang. Like I'm starting off where you guys can go like get a little rowdy. So when I wrote Wish, I was just like, this can be the song that's going to be fun to perform and people will hopefully dance and stuff. Um, and yeah, I wanted it to be a rock hit. So that's where that came from.
Well, I'll definitely be dancing. You don't have to worry about that.
Yes.
It's a banger, and I
Thank
think it's a
you.
great start. I didn't ask this before. What was the first song that you wrote for this album?
Wish.
See, there it is.
Yeah, that's it almost I feel like I'm trying to remember what the first song on Swan is.
I believe it's Miniature Furniture is the first
Is
one
it
on Swan.
that's the
Yeah.
first song?
Yeah.
I think that's the first song I wrote for Swan was Cheerleader. So I'm because I was like, I feel like it's usually like the first song I write is what I want to be the first song. Because like I've started working on new music and like already one of the like the first song that I wrote for it, I was like, this would probably be the opener, like on whatever I release next.
Yeah.
Like it just tends to work out that way.
All right, Teenage Dream. I wanted to ask, because I heard, what is the intro to this song?
Oh, that's me talking to my this was like a foster puppy. His name is Obi, and I was we were trying to get Obi to bark into the microphone, but he wouldn't, and instead it's just me making crazy noises trying to get him to bark. So that's where that Obi, that's where that comes from.
I love it. So, what is going on in this Teenage Dream?
So Teenage Dream, I wrote, it's kind of like it's weird because I will write random lyrics down and then sometimes when it comes to like making a full song, I'll just pick out random lyrics from each different note app and just kind of it's almost like a puzzle, trying to puzzle piece them together to make a song. So a lot of the song was about the same thing, but some lyrics I just kind of threw in there about like other feelings, like um crying in the stadium, how can I not think about it when it's all around me, holding hands and laughing in my face, isn't even about like a an ex-lover or anything like that. Like it's about like family. Like it was a time where I was not talking to a member of my family and was upset about it. And I was at a soccer game in Atlanta and everyone was there with their like parents or their kids or whatever, and it made me sad and I cried. But I threw it in a song about like someone that I had ghosted. Like I just kind of it's all the same feeling is the thing. And it all melts. Yeah, it's I mean that song is about yeah, someone that I ghosted that looked like Keanu Reeves. And that's where Teenage Dream comes in because there is a Keanu Reeves movie called Teenage Dream and I love him. I love Keanu Reeves.
Who
This
doesn't?
is a
It's
love song to
Keanu
Keanu Reeves.
Reeves. I'll
He's a
let him
legend.
know. I'll let him
Thank
know
you.
that it's for
Let's
him.
pass this on to him. Mhm.
Yeah. We're manifesting this gets to Keanu Reeves.
He's gonna hear this.
Yeah. At least
I
like
love
if
you,
we can get it
Keanu.
to Sandra Bullock, she'll get it to him. We just got to get it
She'll get
that
it to him
far.
somehow. That's right.
Yeah. Perfect.
Some
All right.
you're always one person away from anyone. So
Yeah, like 6 degrees of separation. Whoever's listening to this, you know Keanu Reeves, send
I
it his
know
way.
that you know him. Thank you.
Send it his way. All right, we're gonna head into Swallow. What is happening?
Okay, so it's Swallow. Swallow's about a crush.
Yeah.
Swallow is about a crush. I'm trying to remember the lyrics to these songs. I like was just listening to Swallow too because I just released the music video for it. So I'm like, I should know these better. Yeah, Swallow's about a crush. That was another one that I kind of just wanted to make a fun song. I was referencing a lot of Father John Misty when we wrote this, like just like in the song True Affection by Father John Misty, he kind of has that like rolling synth part that just kind of like rolls throughout the entire song. And I knew that I wanted like a synthy um song in the album. I was referencing like Wallows. I was just like a lot of synth like Wolf Alice synth parts. Just to have a little synthy hit because it's like Swallow's cool because it's almost kind of like sinister in a way because it's not like an upbeat. I mean, it is upbeat obviously, but it's not like an optimistic like happy bubblegum type synth song. It's kind of a little bit darker than that,
Hmm.
which is exactly what I wanted because it's about almost like a forbidden crush pretty much. So I wanted it to be a little bit sinister. That's what that one's about.
Amazing. Somewhere. We're getting into these S's. Let's do it.
Oh yeah. So somewhere I wrote that song at 4 in the morning on NyQuil. I was the sickest I've ever been in my life. And it almost I'm always like it came to me in a dream. It didn't necessarily come to me in a dream, but it came to me at 4 a.m. on NyQuil. But somewhere is just about like just the idea of becoming like so comfortable with someone that you feel like you have to stay with them forever or like your life will fall apart. And like the idea of like I would just get lost in somebody's house somewhere is just like again like the comfortability thinking you can't be comfortable with anybody else but that one person. And if you were to be with anybody else, you would feel lost or um I guess dejected from that person in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Jennifer Coolidge. Yeah,
Yeah. Now, I
yeah.
know that you're a big Swiftie. I am as well.
I'm so
But
jealous.
I think that is very Taylor Swift of you. Like 4 in the morning, waking up and like, okay, I have a song. It's going down now.
You're
So
right. Yeah,
you
you're
manifest
right.
destiny to yourself. So
I did. I've
you're,
become who I love the most.
yeah, it's all anyone can do.
Hmm.
I know in one of the other interviews I did with Caitlin Cantrell, we both talked about like every like 20 something singer songwriter is just living up to their manifest of Taylor Swift.
Without a doubt. No, she really is the blueprint.
Oh yeah, 100%. Me like 13 years old with my cowboy boots and my getting ready to go to Red Tour. Like, yeah.
Yeah. No, the first song I ever learned on guitar, the only song I know on guitar is literally Untouchable.
Oh
Like
my God.
she is the blueprint.
She is the blueprint. Amazing. We have like an amazing tone shift in I Want to Be There. Probably my favorite opening line off of this album.
Same.
And I need to know what's happening here because I obsessed with it.
So the idea to go from somewhere into I want to be there was actually Sam's idea. He just thought it was like he was like these I forgot what we I think because we started writing I want to be there right after somewhere or like we played them back to back at one night and he was just like that sounds really good and he was like and it's funny because like the song being somewhere and then it being I want to be there is
Yeah.
like we just thought it was funny and so he came up with that idea to have those it's so hard to format an album like track listing is so hard and that was his idea so that really helped me out a lot but with I want to be there I knew that I wanted to make almost like a country banger like just a folk little song and I mean, I Want to Be There was my favorite when I first made the album. Like it's everything I wanted and more. Like the piano on it, like everything is just so good. Like everything's exactly what I wanted. I wrote that song. It was I always like I remember when I was on the Mount Maltese tour, I told everyone it was a self-hate anthem. I didn't no one really reacted well. Everyone seemed really worried of me whenever I said that, so I had to stop saying it because I was like, okay, I'm just trying to be funny, and you guys are really worried about me, and I don't like that. Like, I'm not gonna do anything. Like, I'm in therapy. Like, please do not worry about me. We all hate ourselves sometimes. Like, come on, let's be real. I wrote that one. Yeah, kind of like in a self-hate way. And during the pandemic, I was living with three of my best friends in the entire world. And February of 2021, our landlord was like, "Hey, so you guys got to get out in 30 days because I'm selling the house." So we were like, "Oh, okay." So all three of my roommates moved to New York and I stayed here in Atlanta. And it was miserable because not only had I just lost the best house in the world, I mean, that house was perfect. I also lost three of my best friends. So yeah, it was a dark time.
Yeah. So you wanted to be there.
I wanted to be there in
You
New
want to be
York.
there. Who doesn't want to be in New York? I mean, let's be realistic.
I want to be there right now.
Yeah, and I know you're from Atlanta. I'm
Hmm.
I'm currently in Florida. I'm from Florida, and
Nice.
I'm an East Coast gal. I can't.
I same, and I
Yeah.
always will be.
Yeah. I like I love LA from a distance. I'm
Yeah,
okay.
LA's dope. I'm happy for y'all, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
stay here.
So not sticking to the East Coast, we have Denver. This song is so sweet.
Oh,
I am assuming it's to your brother.
it is.
Mostly because you kind of let the cat out of the bag at the beginning,
That's
the
true.
best
I did
way.
have to let you guys know.
I just wanted to know. And I know that your brother is a big influence for music when you like
Mhm.
growing up and things like that. So I want all of the details about like the best brother sister dynamic.
I, first of all, love my brother so much. My brother Ben. I have two brothers. I love them both so much. Ben and I are a little bit closer in age, so I'm always like he basically raised me because he kind of like he everything I know about everything I feel like I learned from my brother, and he introduced me to so much good music. I mean, he showed me Twilight, so I would not have known the Twilight New Moon soundtrack if it weren't for him.
Mm,
He showed me Taylor Swift. I mean, he really showed me everything from a very, very young age. Like he raised me. So I knew that I wanted to make because my brother loves my music, which is so sweet. He always tells me that he shows it to all his friends. I knew that I wanted to like do a little sentiment to my brother because he listens to my music and I knew that he'd listen to it. So I almost wanted to surprise him in a way of like, look, when you listen to my music, like there's gonna be something for you. And my brother likes more of my upbeat stuff. Like I Miss When I Smelled Like You is like his favorite song of mine.
I
So
get
I knew
it.
that
I
I
get
wanted to
it.
make it upbeat because he loves the pop hits. So I started writing Denver, and yeah, he had just moved to Denver that month that we started making the album, and I just thought it would be a sweet little tribute, just to let him know, like, no matter where you are, I love you, and I will always come see you. And he loves the song. He was so flattered. It was just a, I just, it was like so nice to do. And that was like the song that we wrote the fastest too. And I guess because it was so easy to explain the love that I have for my brother, and we knew the vibe instantly, and like we just were all stoked on it. Like it was just that was like a really fun day making that song. It was just so much fun to make.
I love that. Um, Best brother and sister duo giving Phineas and Billy a run for their money.
Oh, yep,
Wins all around.
you're right.
Um, and I think I totally understand how that would be the quickest. It's probably the most uncomplicated kind of love that you could write
Yeah.
about.
Exactly. You're right. There's really no contingency. Like it's all love.
I was just so young when I met you. It's so easy to manipulate you girls these days.
Revenant, okay. So the first time I listened to Revenant, I'm not gonna lie, I did tear up a little bit. That
Oh,
one got me. Um, so many heart-wrenching lines, and I need you to tell me how you can make me feel this way.
because I felt that way. Because I felt that way for a very so Revenant is about my first relationship ever. Like when I was in high school, I had like an all-encompassing like whirlwind, so toxic. I mean, no one should have to deal with that in high school. Like when I think about how young I was when I entered this really, I was 17. So like when I say the line 16 was the worst year of my life, I'm saying 2016. A lot of people think that I'm talking about being 16, but I was 17 and it lasted up until I was 19. So like some of the most formative years of my life were spent in a terrible relationship. I mean, honestly, just so it took up my entire life. Like there's so many things that I can blame. Like it's part of the reason I don't think I went to college. Like it just took up so much of my time. And when it was over, I kind of just like completely trauma blocked it. And there's so much of it I don't even remember now because I didn't want to. It was like a closed chapter, of course, but there's always, even with a closed chapter, there's always lingering feelings of some kind. And when I started writing the album, I just thought like, maybe I should just write about this. Maybe that would be like a good little cathartic way to like really close it forever and write it, put it out there, and then I don't have to think about it anymore. And it would just make me feel better hearing it, I guess. That song helped a lot. And there's like it was also just so nice to make it like it there was no like oh my God, this was the crazy part. When we were making that, like in the middle of making that song, I had not heard from that ex for years. Years. In the middle of making that song, he texted me out of nowhere.
Ugh.
It was crazy. It was crazy scary. We were all like, oh, like that was a crazy day in the studio when that happened. Like it was actually insane. I had not heard from him for so long. And I was just like, I cannot believe this. Like, how does he know? It was like psychic shit. It was really scary.
His
But
ears were burning,
yeah,
man.
his ears were burning. Like he had a feeling. And it's also like you would think that making that song would be like so sad and because it is such a sad song, but the experience of making it was so nice because we were in Philly and we're making it Hidden Fortress with Sam and Tom Kelly and Kieran who work at Hidden Fortress in Philadelphia. And at the very end of that song where I say um every time I see a Volkswagen, I am very Southern, so I pronounce some words pretty odd, and I leave out syllables all the time. I leave out letters all the time. That's just me being from the South, you know?
I feel you.
And you feel, yeah. And Tom thought that I was saying horse dragon. So horse dragon became like a reoccurring joke whilst making the album. We almost named the album Horse Dragon because we just thought it'd be funny, but Big Thief released Dragon in New War Mountain, so we were like, oh, we can't use the word dragon anymore. Love you, Big Thief. Y'all can have that one.
We'll let you have this one.
Y'all can keep that one.
Yeah, so we're just coming up with more versions of your 20th anniversary vinyl. Like I feel
Yeah.
like these are different like vinyl variations.
Yep. Horse dragon coloring. Horse
Yeah.
dragon, honestly, we like it's on LP2 name ideas. Like horse dragon, it will make its comeback. Believe that.
Yeah. GP2, Horse Dragon.
Horse dragon. It's coming back. I'm telling you guys.
I think that every girl, especially every indie girl listener, has that one relationship that they can
Yeah.
attach a song to. I know I do. I know you just had a birthday. Happy late birthday.
Thanks.
Which made me want to ask, do you still remember them now that you're 24?
Oh, yeah, I do.
I honestly, we are in the age of Taylor Swift singer-songwriters. Any man who's ever heard a girl who listens to Taylor Swift
Yeah.
or Lorde needs to watch his back.
No, for real. Like I feel bad for you. The thing is, I remember the things, but they don't hurt me anymore. Like it's also like I only remember like the super crazy shit that happened. I don't remember like the petty mean stuff. I don't really doesn't really affect me. But
It's not worth
yeah,
your
that's
time.
crazy. Yeah, now that I'm 24, yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
No, I'm good. I'm sure that
I'm
is a
chilling.
closed chapter. That is a very closed chapter. I mean, I have not seen that specific person in 6 years.
Good for you. That's
So
them.
very close,
Out of here.
very, very close. Yeah,
Honestly, it was a swan deep track, is all it was. It's a closed chapter.
that's it. It's just B-roll.
My friend Emma Marie.
Emma Marie. I love a good name title, so
Have to.
let's dedicate it.
Miss Emma Marie. That is my best friend in the entire world, my longest friend. Me and Emma met on the internet in 2012.
Oh,
Yeah, pretty crazy. We both had like we had both had Instagrams, like fan page Instagrams. They were like multi fandom Instagrams. I think mine was like a One Direction. Who else was I standing? Like Marie and the Diamonds, Lana Del Rey, Vampire Weekend,
2014
Lord,
Tumblr era.
you get it. And then except I was cool and this was in 2012.
Okay, she's ahead of the curve.
I was a little bit out of the curve. And same with Emma. She was even more ahead of the curve than anyone else. I truly believe that. She is the blueprint in my mind. Um, we just met on Instagram and we would uvu all the time. If you remember good old uvu. Met in person for the very first time in 2017 after being friends for as long as we had been. And it was because the person I was dating at the time and the person she's still dating now were on tour together. So she like flew to Atlanta and then we drove to Nashville to go see them play. And now like we see each other all the time, it seems like, because she lives in Chicago and I'll fly out to Chicago or she'll come here or we'll meet somewhere. Like last time I saw her was in Denver. That's my best friend in the entire world. And she like jokingly, when I was in the studio, I like asked her what I should write about. And she jokingly was like, write about me. And she was kidding. I did not take it as a joke because I was like, you know what? I should write about Emma because what an amazing person that I can fully write so many lyrics about only because I love her so much. And I fully adore that girl. And that's where Emma Marie came from. And we made it very Beatlesy. So I wanted to make Emma, like say with Denver, I wanted to make a song that that person that I'm dedicating it to would love. And I know that Emma really loves harpsichord and she loves Joanna Newsom and she loves all the like she loves music that sounds like that. And so I just made sure I was like, let me make a song that I know that she would like and just a nice little dedication. And she loved it. I mean, she said she cried when she first listened to it, so I think I did what I needed to do.
I love it. Again, one of like the purest kinds of love.
Hmm. Again, what an easy song to write because
Yeah.
just so easy to write about how much I love her.
Gosh, female friendship is just so much cooler than everything
It's
else.
so important. It is so important.
Destroyer.
Destroyer. What a song. Destroyer is about. It is so hard to define what Destroyer is about. I read Daisy Jones and the Six on tour. Yeah. Yes.
That's my current hyperfixation right now. How
Oh
dare
my
you?
God.
How
That
dare you
book.
say that name in front of me?
It shifted things for me. Like it shifted things. So, in that book, there's like a part where I'm blanking on all the characters' names. Billy, right?
Yeah.
Billy is talking about Daisy, and they were like almost kissed. And he says something like, I know that if I had made that one small decision, everything else in my life would have changed forever. And I just, for some reason, I was like, I could not stop thinking about that aspect of I was like, that is so crazy because, like, any decision I mean, I guess it's like butterfly effect. Like, any decision that you make could affect everything else in your life in a huge way, no matter how big or small this decision could be. So I was like, is there like a word for that? And I was just like, I guess that's the destroyer. Like, that is the destroyer, this one thing that you do that could wreck your life forever. And I had been put in a position where I could have used my destroyer and didn't. So I wanted to write about that and just, yeah, basically the story is just about like, what if I did this one? Like, it's basically just like a little like, what if I did that? What if I did that, then what?
I
And
love
then I
it.
wrote a song about it. I love that
Iconic.
song. That's probably my one of my favorites because that, yeah, that was the song that Sam was playing on guitar. He was just playing that like and I was like, what is that? That sounds cool. And it wasn't anything. So I was like, oh, I can have it then. And then we made the music video for it. I made the music video with Swinsky and my friend Brandon McLean and my bassist Tom, who's like one of my best friends in the entire world, make a lot of music together. He always is like, that song would not be as good without the video. He's like, I love the song, but like the video made the song, which is, yeah, I love the song even more than I did when I wrote it because of the video. Like it's exactly the vibe. I want it to be very Western, very horses.
Very
Because
horse
the
dragon.
beat is
Very horse
so
dragon.
very horse dragon. It's very
Yeah.
gallopy. Yeah, I love that song.
Anything that stems from Daisy Jones and the Six is a winner in my
It's
book.
gotta be something. It's gotta be something.
When I'm alone, I feel like I've
Title track.
always
When I'm
I
alone.
when I'm alone. You're not alone. So tell me how it feels when you're alone.
When I am alone, I just think when I'm alone, I'm thinking. I am thinking about everything in my life. I so the whole like reoccurring theme on the album, which I was talking to Sam about once, and Sam, I wish I just had a little pocket Sam so that I could pull him out and he could talk for me sometimes because he defined this so much better. I'm gonna butcher what he was saying, but basically, the underlying theme in the whole album is like film for some reason, like movies and television shows and actors. Because like in Destroyer, I mentioned Sam Rockwell, who I just love. Like he's one of my favorite actors. And I mentioned like in Swallow, I say like we could watch all of your movies. Um, I don't know why. I just mentioned a lot of actors a lot, but I guess it's like when I'm alone, I'm usually most of the time I'm watching TV or watching a movie to like, or I'm on my phone to distract myself from whatever the fuck I'm feeling at the time. So when I'm alone is basically exactly what I feel when I let those thoughts win. Um, yeah, because I say when I'm alone, it feels like I've always been. Because sometimes, like when I'm in a relationship, especially like a long distance or just one where you don't see each other as often. I don't know if this is like a universal experience, but sometimes like when I'm away from that person, it feels like I was always away from that person. I guess I have like a very oh, there's a word for it. Object permanence,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So when something's not around me, it's like it's not there in my brain. It's kind of just like gone. So when I'm alone is yeah, my object permanence basically kicking into full effect. Yeah, when I'm alone, the it was a funny one to write because it turned out so different from what I thought it was going to turn out. It was like I've never made a song like that before. I think it's very different from everything else on the album. Um, I'm so proud of it, and I think it's so sick. And like the piano on that is so beautiful. It is just so different, but not in a bad way, of course. It's like a nice little mellow. It's almost jazzy. Um, I think it's just like what the inside of my brain sounds like when I'm alone,
Yeah.
obviously.
And like, I'm gonna be so vulnerable right now. So I'm currently in a long distance relationship, and
Hmm.
I feel that object permanence to
Yeah,
a
it's.
T.
I'm glad that you. Because I when I thought about that, I was like, am I crazy for that? Like,
No.
why are they just out of my brain as soon as I'm not near them anymore?
Yeah, like I love my boyfriend. We've been together for over a year. We're very
Congrats,
happy. Thank you.
love it.
Very happy. But like he lives 4 hours away from me. And
Yeah,
I'm like, if you're not on the phone with me or like FaceTiming me,
you're not
I kind of
here.
forget you're there. Like I kind of
Yeah,
forget you exist.
it's strange. It's so strange how our brains work. Because
Yeah.
yeah, that I'm happy that this is kind of universal. Like this is making me feel valid.
That's my goal here. And my boyfriend, the psychology major, would be agreeing with you right now.
Oh,
So
good.
he's definitely
Yeah,
in
he
support.
he needs to diagnose me.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh, that's all that he does. I love him so much. I love him so much. Jono, if you're listening, I know he's gonna do because he's very supportive. Um,
Oh.
but I call myself his little final exam. So I know he's gonna
I'm
be listening.
jealous. I
I know
need
he's gonna be
someone to
listening to this
constantly
later.
diagnose me. Let him know what he
Psychology
says my
majors.
diagnosis is.
I will because he always listens to them because he's very cute.
He needs to write me
So
a little
yeah,
diagnosis
I'll
sheet.
send you like the follow up. Where are they now?
Thank
I'll
you.
let you know.
Yes, thank you.
When we do your 20th anniversary interview,
Yes, that's when we find out.
that's when we find
Yes.
out. Gotcha. Okay, there we go. So, Jono, take notes. That no, I'm because I listened to the whole album again before we talked, just so I'd have the refresher in my mind, and I absolutely can hear what you're talking about. And I think sort of as I want to be there is like a self-hate when I'm alone is kind of like the self-help, like
Yeah,
this is what I need.
exactly. No, you're so right.
We're gonna talk about the closer, the little seal on the envelope that is when I'm
That's right.
alone, permanent state.
My favorite song I've ever made.
Really? I see
Yeah.
why, but I love that.
I'm just so, it's exactly, it just is such a prideful moment. Just like when you make something and it's exactly what you wanted. It's like such a nice, like serendipitous thing to have. Like there was like no notes, literally no notes for me. It was exactly what I wanted. It's so much fun to perform live. It was so cathartic. It was just like I and I wrote that one so fast. Like I wrote the lyrics to it so fast just because I was just like speaking out the inner workings of my mind. And I think it was because at first we were going to close the album with Destroyer. Like when we made Destroyer, me and Sam were like, "Oh, this is the perfect way to end the album. Like this is the closer, this is the closer, this is the closer." And then Permanent State was the last song that we ever wrote. And for some reason, after I wrote it and after we finished it and made it, I was like, "No, this is it." Because that's like, I feel like Permanent State is like everything I wanted to say in the album, but in one song. So putting it at the end was kind of just like, that's all I have left to say. That's it. That's all I have to say. Um, I'm very proud of it. I love like starting the album with like I know Final Girl is the first track, but I kind of consider Wish to be like the first track sometimes because like the I guess the technically like, the first track of the album in my mind is like the first line is constantly wondering if there's something wrong with me. And then to end the album with I want to be different. I want to be different. I feel like it's exactly like how I feel when I'm alone. Obviously, like it's like the inner workings of my mind so vulnerably written down and saying, um, yeah, it's exactly what I wanted. It's everything I wanted to say, and I think it sounds so cool. Like, I really love how it sounds. Like that's one of the songs from the album that I can listen to and not be like, oh, turn it off. Like I love to listen to it. I love playing it live. It's just a really, really special song to me.
Yeah. So you start off when I'm alone with how you wish you were, because I'll agree. Final track is the amuse bouche. Wish is the first chorus.
Yeah,
So you start off wishing how you could be, and you finish knowing who you are. Even though you want change, that's who you are. That's how you are when you're alone.
exactly.
I,
Exactly. You get it.
and I think you get it subconsciously because
I do get it subconsciously.
I agree with the first track that you write is gonna it's most likely gonna be the first track on the album, and the
Yeah.
last track you write is always the closer.
Yeah, it's always the closer.
Always the closer.
It is funny how that happens. Yeah, because we really wanted to like even after we made like even after I decided Permanent State to be the last one, I remember Sam was like, "You don't want to be Destroyer? Like, are you sure?" And I was like, "No, like this is how I want to end it. This is what I want to say."
Yeah. And you can't, destroy everything at the end. You have to wrap it up nice and
Exactly.
neat in the little
Got to wrap it
envelope
up.
with the seal.
Exactly. Give it a little nice little ending.
we're gonna talk about like what is commonly called your meteoric rise, which
Oh.
I think, because she's a self-made woman. So in your interview with Nylon, you talked
Mm,
about how because of how you started, you released For You during COVID and then
mhm.
Swan. You thought that that start was probably the best versus like the common like music industry beginner, like open mic nights, like
Yeah.
doing clubs and stuff. So do you think that how you started like changed the trajectory of your indie singer-songwriter career?
I think so because I think what I was saying to the nylon too is just that I was just like I couldn't see myself ever playing a show back then. I was so in my shell, like I had never played a show before ever, and I think it gave me a lot more time to kind of just like perfect what I wanted to have and kind of get more comfortable with myself and more comfortable with songwriting and singing. And I feel very fortunate that like it worked out so that I can now like now that everything's open again, I'm able to play. I want to acknowledge the fact that like I was very privileged to not have to go through like the typical open mic nights playing to like five people, like I feel privileged, I feel honored, I feel very grateful. And I think like for me it just worked out the best because I can't even imagine myself doing that kind of stuff now. And I think I got really lucky because I got to get really good at it before I had to actually do it. And I had so much time to like talk myself off the edge of like being so nervous to sing in front of anyone, you know? I do think it really definitely impacted every other aspect of making music for me.
I think you got like every like beginning artist's wish of knowing you had an audience before you had to take the leap.
Yeah,
And honestly, I think that's amazing for you. You got the dream. You got the dream.
I'm extremely, extremely, extremely lucky and grateful. I mean, it's very nice, very cool.
So you're from Atlanta.
Mhm.
You talked about the Atlanta indie music scene, which, you have like snail mail and stuff like that. How is the Atlanta indie music scene different from other places?
I guess because I think like there's so many different scenes here because we have like Faye Webster, we have Winter Vacation, we have Coco and Claire Claire. There's so many different like types of music here. And it's not like all of us are like making music together or necessarily even playing shows together. We kind of stay in our own lane in like a cool, nice way. Like I'm like anyone that I'm a fan of that lives here, I'm lucky enough to like be friends with as well. And we have like a nice sense of community. I mean, we're very supportive here of each other. Like we'll go to each other's shows. We'll always support each other in that way. But like we just stay in our like I think also most of us, like at least I'm just speaking from like the people that I know personally, we're very introverted. So it's nice we just stay in our own lane, but like are always sweet to each other and we'll always support each other. I guess it's like kind of the same for everywhere, but I'm just like comparing to like I feel like in New York, most of the music scene is always playing shows with each other or like playing in each other's bands. But in Atlanta, I've noticed that everyone tends to stay in their own lane in like a polite, kind way.
It's the Southern hospitality.
That's exactly what it is. Exactly what it is.
Yep. See, we don't have that in Florida. Everyone's cracked head Florida mans.
Yep.
So we just all kind of gang up at a bar in Orlando and then just start
But
screaming
hey,
songs at each other.
y'all have Ethel Kane.
You know what? You're so right.
Y'all have Ethel Kane. And for
Um,
that, you should be very grateful.
we have Gatlin. She was
You
born in
have
Orlando.
Gatlin.
She was born in
That's right.
Orlando. That's my
Love her.
girl. That's my girl.
Love
Um,
her.
I am her day one. What's the if she's got 100 fans, I'm one. If she's got 10 fans,
I'm
I'm one. If she has no fans, I died.
I'm dead.
Mm,
You have Gatlin and Ethel Kane, and that is enough for Florida.
yeah, she was my first interview. I love her so much.
Oh,
All right, it's time for my favorite segment Our favorite segment here at the Sunshine Podcast. First date with your new favorite artist.
Ooh.
So, cue like cliche game show music. Girl Puppy is going to be your new favorite artist. These are reasons why. What's your go-to karaoke song?
I'm Gonna Get You Good by Shania Twain.
Love it. What was the last song that you listened to?
Ooh, can I look?
Absolutely. I know mine is
Okay.
When I'm Alone. Just wanted to say that.
Oh, mine was Star Roving by Slow Dive.
Okay. Your desert island albums, your three desert island albums.
Oh my, okay. Trouble Will Find Me by The National.
Great choice.
I'm gonna say In Rainbows by Radiohead. And then the third, Evermore, Taylor Swift.
I get that. I'm a folklore girly till I die. I would be lying if I
Oh,
wasn't.
I'm an Evermore girl. Sorry, y'all.
I think mine would be Melodrama by Lord. I
Ooh,
I
yes.
listen to the song at least once. I listen to the album at least once a week.
So
Melodrama by
good.
Lord, Folklore by Taylor Swift,
Yep.
and I got to do my deep cut. Honestly, probably Tapestry by Carole King. I'm
Ooh,
obsessed with that
those are
album.
great choices.
Thank you. Do you
Love that.
consider yourself a songwriter or a performer?
Ooh. Mm. I'm better at songwriting than I am performing. I'm a great performer. Let me be nice to myself really quick. I am a
Yeah,
great performer. Come see me. Like I'm fun. I promise. But I'm in my bag when I'm songwriting. I know more of what I'm doing.
I love it. She knows her skills. She knows her worth.
I know
Which
my
song
worth.
do you wish you wrote?
Oh, Keep You Down by Christian Lee Hudson.
Okay.
I think that's an amazingly perfectly written song. If not that, then Look at Me Now by Caroline Polachek. That one too. Those two
Good one.
songs. Wow.
I know. I just listened to her new album a couple days ago and it's incredible.
So good. I love her.
Are there any milestones that you're currently working towards?
Coachella.
Yes.
Playing Coachella.
I always say I will never go to Coachella unless I'm playing Coachella.
I do not want to go. Don't invite me. I don't want to go.
Yeah.
But can I play there, please?
Yeah. Unless I get to sit in the little AC like artist space, I
Yes.
will not go other than that.
Unless you'll let me come for free and give me free drinks.
Yeah. All right, Coachella. You heard it.
You're listening.
Um, what is one thing you wish you knew before you started this process?
Ooh. Don't trust everyone.
I think that's
Have
just a
some
great for
boundaries.
life.
Have some boundaries, just in general,
Hell
but
yeah,
especially in this
boundaries.
industry. Have some boundaries.
Those are our best friends. All right, your go-to studio or tour snack.
Ooh. When we were making, I'm gonna have to name a couple, but when we were making When I'm Alone in Philly, we were go puffing pretty much every night. I don't know if you've ever used Go Puff,
No.
but it's like a Postmates type scenario. And it's mostly just like they just like get stuff from convenience stores, but they recently started having like actual food and drinks that you can order and that are like fresh and ready, like made to order, or whatever. And when we were making the album in Philly, we were getting lavender chai every day. Or like not even lavender. No, it was lavender matcha. Oh my God, it was a chai. It was
Ooh,
lavender matcha. So good. So that was that. We were getting that all the time. And then when we were making the album in the cabin, what was my go-to? Oh, funnily enough, pickled okra.
that's
I'm a
so
Southern
southern of
girl.
you. That's
I'm
so southern of
Southern.
you.
I'm a
Where's my
Southern girl.
I should have worn my Georgia Bulldog shirt. I was thinking about it, but
Yeah, I'm a Southern girl at heart. And then on tour, it's always hummus plate. Classic.
I love it. Portable. What is
Portable.
your favorite city that you've toured in? Last question.
Ooh, favorite city. Wow.
Which one brings the
Oh,
hype?
that's
Which
so
one
hard.
lived up to the hype?
Gosh, honestly, I feel like it's LA. It's got to be LA. LA was the first I've only played in LA one time, but that was so memorable. The crowd was so amazing. Yeah, I gotta say LA. And I'm gonna give it to Atlanta too. I mean, Atlanta, that's hometown, you know.
Hometown shows, baby.
Hometown shows, they're so sweet always. I think Atlanta has a great crowds that come out. So LA and Atlanta.
Other cities gotta build it up.
Come on.
All right. So you're currently on tour with Howdy.
I'm about to go on tour with Howdy.
Oh, you're about to go on tour with Howdy. That too.
Hmm.
That's fine. Yeah, because I'm gonna be at your Tampa show. So get ready for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait to meet you.
Oh my gosh, yes. I'm gonna like come bother you after the show. It's gonna be great.
Please.
That'll be my second concert at the Crowbar, so that'll be dope.
Is it a cool venue?
It is such a fun venue.
Cool.
Um, it is just like it's in the like weirdest part of Tampa, which if you've ever been to Tampa, it is
Mm-mm.
such a fucking weird mess. Because
I'm
it's
excited.
like right around the corner. Because I went to a concert there with my best friend in the entire world, and I was 17. Yeah, I was 17, and she was 20. And it was a Christian concert at the time, and so felt so weird going to a Christian concert at a bar, like had the X's on our hands, and we went to
Yeah.
like school the next day, and we're like, but it's literally just like it's such like a personal venue, and I
Oh,
loved every second of the show I went to
I'm
there.
excited. I'm so
Chris
excited.
Benzema, love you. So yeah, I'll see you on April 17th. Here we go.
Yay!
So you just put out two covers on December 16th.
That's right.
Um, River and the War Xmas The War Is Over. What like why these two songs? What was happening?
So those are like Happy Xmas War is Over is my favorite Christmas song of all time.
I get
And
it.
then River is, River's not technically a Christmas song, but it also is. And that's also one of my favorites. So starting in like 2020, I wanted to like release a Christmas cover every year, but this like last year I wasn't able to because I don't know, like there was just too many. I did not get time to record one. So I thought because River was on we put River out on Bandcamp in 2020 and then Happy Xmas out on Bandcamp in 2021. So I
Mhm.
thought instead of giving you guys another cover, I could just put these on all streaming services so that everyone can listen to them.
Oh my gosh.
Um, so I picked those two because those are just my favorite Christmas songs.
I get it. I'm a Joni Mitchell girl at heart.
Same,
I
always.
get it. Yeah. Um, my last big question. What advice do you have for people who are still looking for the sign to finish their quarantine albums?
Just do it. Rip the band-aid off and just do it. Like you can do it. You should do it. Make you feel so much better when you do it. Just try to devote like at least an hour every day to working on it and show it to people. I mean, show whatever you have to people because like honestly, showing my shit to people makes me like I hold myself accountable in that way because I'm like if I don't finish it, at least one of my friends will tell me to. So accountability is key.
Accountability is always key. This has been so much fun. Everybody go follow Girlpuppy on Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, every social media app where you can words girl and puppy together. Follow her, stream all her music, go see her on tour. You're going to a whole bunch of places.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Do you have anything that people need to know? You know, you're going on tour.
I'm going on tour. I'm going to the Southeast. If you're a Southerner, come see me.
Yeah, Florida people rise up. We're doing it.
Florida people rise. For real.
Rise up. Once again, a big thank you to Girlpuppy for joining us on the Sunshine Podcast, and a big thanks to you for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and be sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at the Sunshine Pod. Follow us anywhere you listen to podcasts to stay updated on all of our new episodes and listen to some of our old ones. Be sure to turn on notifications because we have a lot more artist interviews coming at you that you don't want to miss. Follow us on YouTube if you want to listen to the raw, unedited interviews and see our reactions. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed, and thank you for supporting your podcast. My name is Maddie Campbell. You can follow me on Instagram at Maddie G. Campbell. We'll hear you next time, and remember to stay sunny.